All right, not a good day today. I have 2 no starts in my garage, and I've got a major thing going on with work that is going to be a little problem with my car thing for quite some time. So I have got to get both of these cars out of here this weekend, whether they run or not, actually. So as you saw, we just got dropped off a Isuzu Rodeo. I've actually never seen an Isuzu before. But the point is, I don't even care what year it is. All I know, it has a cranking no start, and I am going to work with celerity here. So this is going to be the fastest diagnosis possible on this cranking no start. Okay, well, maybe second fastest possible, because I just noticed something. Look through the window, we can see that the key is there with the car, but it is in the on position. There are no lights on the dashboard. That is not a good sign. Yep. Battery completely dead. Gosh, this is a conspiracy against me, I tell you. All right, let's get this on the charger and I'll tell you what's going on. Never seen one of these before. A Schrader valve right there. That is a good sign. Okay, so at least something is going in my favor here. And I just want to check the battery, make sure it is dead. Wait, something else going on in my favor. The battery is disconnected. Oh, that is a good sign. Let's see here. Ooh, check it out, 12 volts. All right, things are going in my favor in every way possible. So let's connect this up and see if we can, ooh, good healthy spark. All right, nice. So let's go ahead and crank this thing and see if we can reproduce what the customer says is a cranking no start. All right, first thing I'm going to do is just check for a KOEO prime. Don't hear it. Yeah, I do not hear a prime. So not all cars have that. I am not familiar with Isuzu at all. I've never seen one before. So let's try cranking it, and I'm fixed onto the tachometer. See if we got evidence of tach signal. No, I don't. Now again, that also, like the KOEO prime, is not a definitive test at all. Yeah, I cannot get this thing to start. Let me try pumping the pedal a little bit. All right, yeah, I can't get it started. Not saying I'm crazy about the sound of the compression, by the way, if you've noticed. Let's try that one more time. Take a listen to the compression. But I don't believe that that's going to be a problem for the start, in my opinion. So let's get back to the front of the car. All right, because I need to move with expeditiousness, I will, of course, employ my FASTTEC diagnostic procedure. If you are not familiar with that, I will put a link. But basically, it will always find the direction for a no-start condition or even a dead cylinder. So it always works. If it does not work for you, then you're simply doing it wrong, because it is just plain science. But the thing is based on the information that we got from the cranking there, I'm having a little problem triaging if it's fuel or spark or possibly both. We did not see KOEO prime. We also did not see tachometer movement. So I'm equally concerned about fuel and spark. However, neither of those are definitive. So I'm going to check one or the other, and I can see right here, we've got a COP system on this car. Schrader valve right here, no brainer. We are definitely going to do fuel as our first step. So let's see if I can depress the Schrader valve with my finger. Well, I can a little bit, and no fuel is coming out at all. So let me zoom in on that for you while I get a screwdriver. And actually my multimeter probe is handy right here, but we can clearly see that there is no fuel coming out of there. So again, that still could be a cam crank sensor thing if we're not getting signal for the pump. So we need to still verify spark at this point now. Given that this is a COP system and I want to get this as quick as possible, I've got an idea. We will do this with starting fluid. If I can get this car started, then we will know that we have all elements in FASTTEC except, of course, for fuel. So go to this booster, I think will be the best thing to do. All right, rather than jump back and forth, I just noticed that there's a relay box right here. So the idea is I've got this paper clip, and just make a little quick remote starter here for myself so I don't have to run back and forth during a cranking no start. All right, let's see if we can get this car to run. Okay, already. Confirmed. Fuel problem. All right, like a boss, like not even 2 minutes, and we have a definitive direction on where this problem is. This car is not getting fuel to the engine, no question about it. So now I'm a little more concerned about that KOEO prime, because we've seen this a lot of times before, and more often than not, certainly a fuel pump. So I definitely don't want this to be a fuel pump condition, but I cannot make a diagnosis yet. There are other variables, many of them actually. So the first thing that runs through my mind is that KOEO prime condition. So I'm a little worried about that now. So I think the best thing to do is, I am not sure if these cars, these Isuzus, have a KOEO prime, so I'm going to make my own. All right, let's see. Fuel pump right here. How hard is that? And then we're going to look for the control side on the fuel pump. Seems to be the same format. We've got, looks like 30 and 87 will be the control side. So let's see, 30 and 87. Yep, we can see control side there. Let me just verify with a voltmeter. Okay, so we've got a hot at all times like we would expect there. So where is my paperclip? I cannot find my paperclip, so I am going to have to get some kind of thing to jump this, well, rather than get my power probe. Since we've got a hot at all times here, how easy is this? All right, normally I do not do this, and I do not recommend doing this, but we're going to go ahead and set up to a 10 amp DC scale, and we will manually drive this fuel pump through my voltmeter. And it does not seem to be working. Well, I am not a happy camper right now, because it does not take a brain to figure out that this car almost certainly needs a fuel pump. I am not sure how I'm going to have time for this weekend, so this really blows. There are some other factors, so I think the best thing to do is to go ahead and get these relays back in. I don't even remember where I put them now. There they are. All right, so what we're going to do is go under the car. Since this is an SUV, I probably won't have to jack it up, and we can go right under the car, and I can just put 12 volts right to the fuel pump and just get this diagnosis done. Now, there is a complicating matter. The owner, I forgot to mention this, I actually forgot all about it. The owner did put a fuel pump in this car. So this car has a new fuel pump. The owner did say that when they had the cranking nose start, they replaced the fuel pump. They said that the car worked for approximately a week or so, and then the same problem happened again. So a little bit of a clue there, I guess. But let's get under the car and see if we can energize the fuel pump and rule this thing out. All right, sorry for the camera work here, but we're just going to very quickly put 12 volts to this pump here. Maybe I can get that into the light a little bit for you. All right, there's a little bit more light for you. And yeah, I will need to definitely probe this. I'll be right back. I will tell you that based on this, if I did not already know that this vehicle had a fuel pump put in a week ago, I would tell these people they almost definitely need a fuel pump. And of course I would verify 100% ultimately by doing what I'm doing now. But sometimes you got to drop the tank for that and everything. And luckily I don't have to do it. So let's see here. Let's get that onto the ground. And let's see how bad my weekend is about to be here. Oh my. Oh my. Well, I'm sure you can hear that, but that fuel pump works. And it is loud. I would have definitely heard that on the KOEO. Wow. That makes me wonder if we have control to this thing now. Actually, it makes me wonder if we have fuel pressure first, as long as I've got this connected. Let's put a fuel pressure gauge on this thing. All right, rather than bounce the camera back and forth, I have a fuel gauge installed. Let's prime that. All right, well, there you have it. Just more evidence not to change parts until you get full evidence. But this vehicle definitely does not need a fuel pump. That is not the problem. It probably wasn't the problem last time either. This is going to have some kind of failure of control signal to the fuel pump. So let's get back under the car and find that. All right, just because I know the camera work really sucks right now and the lighting is not very good, I think it'll be easier for the camera if I just use a test light to check this circuit. So here, let me see if I can put it here so it'll stay in place. There we go. That ought to do it. So now we can dim the light actually, and we'll see if that test light lights up, which it most certainly will not, but we just need to be sure. Obviously, the engine ran a little bit because of the fuel pressure that we built up earlier, but the test light did not light, so let's do this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up there and jumper the fuel pump relay so that the fuel pump will be driving all the time, and then we will see whether we're missing power or ground here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'll be right back. We should be having power fed to this thing, so here is the idea. Before I do my visual inspection, I want to know, are we looking at a failure for power or failure for ground? So I'm going to hook my test light up to the positive side here. All right, there we go. Now we can touch the test light to a ground somewhere. Let's see if is that test light in view. Yes, it is. That is most definitely a good ground. That light is not lighting. So now let's switch this over to the ground. All right, I would actually rather use my multimeter for this, but it's just not as friendly for the camera. Not to mention I can do a voltage drop test. So now we're on the ground. So now I need a 12-volt power source. Oh, you know what? My power probe is right here. All right, let me make sure this is in the camera view here. And, oh, check it out. It lights up. Let me make sure you guys are seeing that. Yeah, it lights up. So we definitely have obvious failure to have power here. So, all right, so obviously we have an open here, and now in retrospect it's just hitting me. It would have maybe been a good idea to look at the fuse first. Obviously we're going to do that now, so let's take a look at the fuse. Fourth fuse, 20 amp. So actually, if we do find a blown fuse, not a whole lot of time lost there. We would have still had to go under the car and verify if the short was at the fuel pump or whatever, but so really, you know, it would have been easier to just do this while I was up on the car. There's 4, let's see here. Good and good. Okay, so the fuse is not blown. There is no doubt about it. Diagnosis, we have an open on the power side somewhere. Let me go see if I can hunt that down. All right, I finally caught a break, and I really needed one today, but this is going to turn out to be very easy. So I've got the load side bypassed in the relay box for the fuel pump. We can see, I don't know if you can see right here, hopefully you can, but there is a cable feed with all the power feeds to the fuel pump and sending unit and all that. What I'm going to do is just wiggle this, and we'll listen very carefully. Let's see if I can get this. It's a little finicky. There we go. All right, I'm hoping that you're hearing that fuel pump. Just did it without me touching it. Let me put the microphone on that just to let you hear it better. All right, well, if we leave it there, it'll keep running. All right, well, it comes together pretty obviously now. This vehicle probably didn't need the first fuel pump. It almost certainly had the wiring problem. The replacement of the fuel pump almost certainly jostled the wires around. They ended up in the position like now where the fuel pump will run. And then within the week, of course, the vibration from driving the fuel pump dies. So the main thing with this, I don't think you guys need to see a basic wiring repair. It's very obvious we have an open somewhere in that area I was messing around with. Maybe I'll just show a video of the final repair with the starting the engine. I know you guys like to see the final confirmation of repair. But the main point to learn from this is this. I am a do-it-yourselfer using just basic tools. Honestly, if I had a DVOM and 12 feet of wire, we could have made this diagnosis conclusively. So there is no excuse for a professional mechanic to parts change when you can just do a simple diagnosis that any do-it-yourselfer can do. It really frustrates me when I see that. But anyway, let me get this wiring repair done. We'll show the final startup and get this vehicle out of here, and I can get back to my other no-start condition. All right, not exactly sure what the deal was with the wiring there. I didn't find an actual physical break of the wiring, but sometimes they break in the wire sheath. So that's obviously what happened here. This often happens when they're running up against suspension components, like was the case here, or if the wires are bent or pinched. But I'm pretty sure I've got that area in question replaced, so we'll just give you the satisfaction of the final fix and get this thing out of here. Hey, Steven, this is Matt. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Going really good. Your car's done.
Really?
Really?
Dang, that was quick.
Well, it was just a minor wiring thing, so no parts needed or anything, so no charge. Just come by whenever you can and get your car.
I'm at work now, actually. I get off at 2:30.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want to come by after 2:30, I guarantee you'll be able to drive it home and not have any more problems.
All right, cool. Let me find out, talk to the person that picks me up from work and see if I can just get him to give me a ride over there to pick it up. But, dang, thanks so much. That was quick.
I'll tell you what, if you have any trouble getting a ride back from work or whatever, just let me know. I'll be going to the grocery store anyway today, so I can always bring you back, all right?
Oh, cool. Thanks.
All right. Well, you just let me know. We'll see you this afternoon. Take care, buddy.
Sounds good. I'll give you a call when I get off.
Right on. Bye.
Bye.
See, I'm not such a bad guy after all.